Alright guys, we need to talk. What's with this obsession with turning GTA 6 into a life simulator? I mean seriously, some of the things I've been hearing are getting out of hand. GTA fans have been coming up with ideas that sound like they don't want a game, but an actual copy of the real world that they can control. The internet is filled to the brim with articles, videos, and Reddit posts talking about fans wanting certain things to be in GTA 6. Some of them are no doubt great, but others are downright impossible, or at least hilarious. For instance, some fans want GTA 6 to have vehicle physics just like BeamNG. Now, if you've ever played that game, you know how insanely realistic and crazy those car crashes are. I mean, I absolutely love watching my car crumple into a twisted wreck of metal, but come on, let's be real here. Wanting that in GTA 6 would be a total nightmare, for a variety of different reasons. Every time you accidentally bump into a pole or hit another car, your vehicle would take such a hit that it might not be able to drive again. We've all gotten used to driving recklessly in GTA games, speeding through traffic, and killing a bunch of civilians on our way to the next destination, and having absolutely no regard for the rules of the road. Now, if that were to change, we wouldn't even make it to the next mission without having to swap a dozen cars along the way. So yeah, sure, realism is cool and all, but sometimes it's okay to sacrifice a bit of reality for the sake of fun. And what about the computational power required to run a game with such realistic physics? BeamNG's car crashes are intense, but imagine trying to process that level of detail in a massive open-world game like GTA 6. There's no way our systems could handle all that chaos without melting down. It would get even crazier when you're being chased by the cops with a 5-star wanted level. The crashes would be absolutely insane. Cars flying everywhere, debris filling up the streets, and your system struggling to keep up with all that. So no, I don't think super realistic car physics like BeamNG is a possibility. And even if it were, it would be a nightmare. But that doesn't mean I want things to be super arcadey like in GTA 5 either. It should be more like the one in GTA 4. It just felt more realistic, but not overly so, to stop you from completing your missions. You want the cars to feel realistic enough to give weight to your actions, making those police chases and missions requiring precision driving feel more intense and satisfying. But if the handling gets too realistic, it could start to become frustrating. I think vehicles in GTA 4 had much better suspension and a heavier feel, but the driving itself felt more realistically difficult and less forgiving. On the other hand, GTA 5 went for an easier, more accessible approach, but in doing so, it lost some of that satisfying weight and realism. So I want to see something between the two games, realistic enough to make every vehicle feel different, especially when driving on different surfaces, which isn't something that we've seen so far. I mean, every car can be an off-roader if you want it to be. At least Rockstar should get that part right in GTA 6. And while we're on the subject of vehicles and realism, there's one more thing some fans have been wanting to see in the upcoming game: gas stations and fuel system. Sure, we've seen gas stations in GTA games before. They're usually there for us to blow up or completely ignore, but actually using them to fuel up our cars, that's a new one. Sure, it does sound good and, well, realistic, but honestly, I don't think that's going to be a thing in GTA 6. Having to visit gas stations repeatedly sounds like a tedious task that, after a while, will become boring and even annoying. But what'd be more annoying, however, is if we had to eat, drink, and sleep in GTA 6 just like we do in real life. I mean, we've seen those features in previous Rockstar games, including San Andreas and, of course, RDR2. In San Andreas, though, it wasn't really necessary. You could do these things if you wanted to, but it didn't really impact the character or the game much. However, in RDR2, the impact was much more noticeable. If Arthur didn't eat properly or get enough sleep, he'd start to feel tired, and you'd see the game screen blinking as he tries to keep his eyes open. It also affected his running speed and stamina. The game is very subtle about it, though. It doesn't annoy you with bars that constantly remind you to sleep or eat. It simply gives you visual cues to act on when you can. So, I wouldn't be surprised to see those RPG elements come to GTA 6, and if they do, they'll likely be super subtle. I think GTA 6 should pick up a thing or two from GTA San Andreas and RDR2 both. Then we have cops, and man, fans have got some wild speculations about them. We know how with every GTA game, the cops have become smarter and less reckless. And based on everything we've learned or educationally guessed about cop AI in GTA 6, we can expect them to be even smarter and behave more realistically. This means they might start giving out tickets for traffic violations and chasing you if you go over the speed limit. This could be interesting and even fun. It would make you feel the consequences of your actions, slowing the pace of the game and making it more immersive. As someone who enjoyed the slower pace of RDR2, I can understand why some players would want GTA GTA 6 to have that grounded realism, but there's a fine line here. If Rockstar overdoes this, it could backfire, assuming if they actually implement that. Constantly getting ticketed for minor traffic infractions would make the game feel annoying and boring. It wouldn't feel GTA-like. We've seen similar features in the Mafia games, and the majority of us didn't really enjoy them. So, what do you all think? Should GTA 6 have those strict traffic laws, or would that take away from the chaotic freedom that we have come to love about this series? And if such features were to become a part of GTA 6, how do you think Rockstar should handle that? One way that I see it happening is if Rockstar implements ticketing in a subtle manner. Like, you don't have to stop when you run a red light. It just gets sent to you and added up until you decide to pay it off when you get the chance. I'm also concerned about the weapon limitations that have been rumored since the leaks about GTA 6 came out. For those who aren't aware, GTA 6 might adopt a weapons inventory system similar to RDR2, meaning players won't be able to pull out weapons out of thin air anymore. Instead, there will likely be a limit to how many weapons they can carry on their back, possibly around 2 guns plus a melee weapon. Looking at how RDR2 handled this, it wasn't a bad thing. In fact, it was pretty fun having to carefully think about what weapons you have before diving into a fight. It forced players to think ahead and plan their approach, rather than having a shitload of weapons to cheat your way out of every situation. So there are pros and cons here. Limiting weapons could force us to be more careful and plan our actions more thoughtfully, which might be a refreshing change. But at the same time, it might alienate some players by taking that choice out of the equation. We have been hardwired to play GTA games recklessly, and weapons have played a massive role in creating such an experience. When the cops are on your tail, there's nothing like mowing them down with a machine gun, or taking out that annoying police chopper with an RPG. And it will get even better if we get back that chainsaw from Vice City to cut through unsuspecting civilians just for fun. But if Rockstar were to implement a weapon system like that, it would be great if we still had those weapons at arm's length. Maybe get a duffel bag to store some of those weapons, or put them in the trunk of your car, both of which might be possible. I wouldn't want to hang around the hood carrying just a couple of guns on my back. So if GTA 6 tries something like that, I really think it needs to give us the means to carry those weapons with us somehow. This way the game wouldn't be taking away our choice, and we'd still be able to carry more weapons if we want. So that's just scratching the surface of the thousands of things fans want to see in GTA 6 to make it more realistic. Some ideas go even deeper, like having taxes, missions that make you attend lectures, the ability to cook stuff, and all those real-life activities. While some of these ideas are really intriguing, I can't imagine myself having to sit through an entire class at the in-game university or college to learn new skills or progress in a certain mission. Sure, some realism is to be expected, and I am all for it, but GTA has made an identity by striking that balance between reality and arcade gameplay. It never outdoes realism, and expecting that it would just makes it sound like a life simulator. GTA has always been about pushing boundaries, giving us the freedom to cause chaos, and offering an escape from the everyday grind. Adding too much realism risks losing that unique blend of action, adventure, and over-the-top fun that makes GTA what it is today. It's been in development for over a decade now, and it's Rockstar we're talking about here, so GTA 6 is totally in safe hands. Rockstar has a proven track record of delivering groundbreaking, genre-defining games that are absolute best experiences. With every new installment, they manage to innovate and surprise us, and I have absolutely no doubt that they will do the same with this next installment. All we have to do is believe in Rockstar and wait for this masterpiece to come out. And surprisingly, it isn't even far now. We're already halfway through 2024, meaning we're halfway there.